It's Sunday night. It's 7 o'clock here in California, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And in the Donetsk Republic, it is. Natalia, what time is it over there where you're at?
Hello, Steven.
What time is it where you are?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Okay, thank you. Hold on just a moment. All right. Anyway, she was here ready bright and early at 5 a.m. Her time, and it was actually she was an hour and a half early. I'm sorry about that. So she's been up very early. Uh, anyway, as you can see here, we have Natalia from the Donetsk People's Republic has returned to visit with us and tell us what's going on. Zach Novak, as well as Georgy Morozov, were supposed to be here, but unfortunately, we're unable to connect to them. And we'll have to perhaps get them again some other time. Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to connect during the show. But we're very happy to have Natalia with us, and I'm sure she's going to be able to do a very good job of telling us what's going on over there in her world. We've been focused quite a bit recently on Syria, of course, because so much is going on over there, and we don't want anyone to forget what's going on over there in the former eastern Ukraine. There has been the last show we did was shortly after the Minsk agreements were completed. And if you've been following, you'll know that there have been many violations of that agreement, primarily by the Kiev junta regime. And of course, the United States and the EU and NATO is doing everything it can to foment trouble and to continue to arm the Kiev regime, and in the hopes of starting an offensive against the people in the Donbass. And of course, they really do think that they're going to be able to go in there and wipe them all out, and they really think that the only thing that's keeping them from doing that is the army of Russia, allegedly, and we know that's not true. But again, tonight we are going to focus on what's going on in that part of the world. We don't want people to forget, and we really, at the very much, hope to accomplish tonight is that we can convince people to continue to think about what's going on over there and to put pressure on our leaders to stop any kind of funding and military support for the fascist forces over there in Kiev. So, without wasting too much time, Natalia,
Yes.
first of all, I want to welcome you to the show, and we're very happy to have you back again. And thank you for getting up so early to be with us. And I hope you don't mind that you're the only one, and it's all on you tonight.
I'm happy to hear you today. Hello, Steven. I'm very glad that you have invited us today. It's a big honor for us to be heard by USA citizens. It doesn't matter, you don't have to apologize that I woke at earlier than 5 o'clock. It was interesting. I heard something from your show. I listened to you. It's very interesting. I'm very glad to be here in the show today.
Well, we're very happy to have you here,
Thank you.
and it's great that that you're staying healthy and alive, and that's very important. Uh, how long has it been since the last time you were here? Do you remember?
If I'm not mistaken, we had the last show together in at the beginning of October.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, not. I'm assuming quite a bit has happened since then. Obviously, the weather must be very cold, but what's the most important thing that you can tell us about what? Give us an update on everything that's happened since the last time we spoke.
Since the last time, the situation here has not changed crucially in many spheres, especially in a military situation. Fortunately, dwellers of the central districts of Donetsk do not see shelling every day. We are lucky, but however, dwellers of our suburbs, of our city, capital of the DPR's Republic Donetsk, are being shelled often. Nearly every day they are shelled, and other settlements of the Republic. However, the shelling is not so severe in comparison with the summer 2015 and 2014 when the war started actually, and last winter, January and beginning of the February before the Minsk II agreements were severe. We talked with you last time, and it's unbelievable to forget. Actually, a couple of days ago, on 22nd of January, we had a morning rally. We commemorated people who died in the central of Donetsk on 22nd January. It was a big tragedy for our city when Ukrainian shells struck a peaceful trolleybus at about 8 o'clock a.m. when people hurried up to get their place of work, universities. That day, 13 people died and 17 more people got wounded. Fragments of that shells flew away, destroyed bus station, public transport cars, people burned in car, and it was impossible to help them, and infrastructure hasn't been restored yet totally. In general, authorities try to do everything as possible. Of course, humanitarian convoys from Russia help us regularly with food, clothes for children, aged people, and building materials. Our city is being restored all the time, but even at the rally, people looked at the buildings surrounded, houses, populated houses, and not. There are features that a year ago was a severe war there.
I have a question, Natalia.
Yes?
Why do you think it's not as bad as it was? What do you think has caused the shelling? I mean, aside from the Minsk agreement, is there any reason that that the shelling would be less effective now than it was? Are they actually trying to hold back, or is there something that the militia is doing to protect the people better?
Yes, I understand your question. Actually, I'm not a adherent of Minsk, and majority of people do not understand this agreements. Ukrainian forces, Ukrainian nationalistic battalions sent here by Kiev junta try everything possible to shell, to make suffering people again here. They bring closer and closer heavy armament. I'm sure that our militias, our government try to protect people, not to show to people see such horror, at least in the center of cities, but it's impossible. It's still impossible to prevent in suburbs. I mean that it is better. Of course, it's better that our children are studying this year without obstacles as they go to schools. I really impress my sympathies to people who live in suburbs. Children also live there. Schools in Gorlovka are shelled all the time. It's a pity that this town has already become a hero. Such resistance for so long time, no one could forecast this before. And Minsk agreement, it's very dangerous for us. It's frozen war, and Poroshenko, president of Ukraine, didn't tried to hide it, know when. And yesterday he announced openly that he wants to stop this frozen war as soon as possible and to start to act to return back Donbas to Ukraine with all possible ways. No, we understand that he means war, military forces here.
It's kind of you have to wonder if obviously Poroshenko and the junta would like the Donbass returned to them, but do you think that they really need it, or is it just? I mean, in other words, I think the Ukraine, it has problems, but it can survive very well without the Donbass. So, do you think that there's any reason other than pride that they must have it back?
You mean they do not really want it? They do it by order of Western authorities?
Well, yeah, I think so, but I think that the Donbass area must be very important strategically for industry and other things, and it's almost like the Ukraine must have it back to survive. But I don't know if that's true. Do you think that that's why they're like that, or is this mostly just because of politics?
Of course, Donbass was earlier and now would be strategic area for Ukraine. It is a rich land, and the main part of the budget was refilled with Donbass donations because it was very rich, powerful industry area. Really, Ukraine couldn't leave us alone when the war started, when we expressed our will to separate from Ukraine and to have our own economy. But now, actually, Ukraine, how to say, we are not the only problem for Ukraine that we separated. All the time, rallies happened in different regions of Ukraine. Scandals. Probably you saw very funny scandals in the Верховна Rada. It's some kind of White House, like in the USA. Officials are quarreling all the time. President lost his influence upon them totally. Also, diseases are spreading so much. Such a strong epidemic of flu is now. People are dying in Ukraine. Economy is being destroyed. But it would be better to leave us and to start to resolve their other problems. I think that they are going on to make us suffer because they do not have another way, because they negotiate all the time with their Western colleagues. They had several meetings this year, this month. They met such political representatives as Nuland, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden. They talked a lot, and after the negotiations, they started acted more actively.
Okay. Let's see. There's a couple things I wanted to ask you. First of all, this flu epidemic
Yes.
that's happening, is it mostly in the West, or are the Donbass people also having this problem, or is it mostly on the other side?
Yes, we have also problem, and our authorities prolonged winter holidays for children, and they were somehow protected from close contact to people, and not so many children got this disease. I have statistics in our republic. 4 people died because of flu. In south of Ukraine was the biggest amount, more than 20 people. In western regions also, in one region 5 people, in another 7, and in the center of Ukraine, in Kiev, also were about 10 mortal cases from flu.
Well, it's interesting. I should mention for your benefit that there was an American company, an American pharmaceutical company in Ukraine that was responsible for developing biological weapons and drugs to be used
Yes, we
for
heard
killing
this.
people. So it doesn't surprise me that you would have problems like that. Okay, what I want to talk about right now is I know over there your job is to work to educate people outside of your country about your situation.
You are right.
And I know that this is becoming very frustrating because it seems like when the last time we talked, you were asking me what is the how people are educated about this and if people are talking about it and how they are affected. And I had to tell you that outside of the internet and the alternative media, that there's very little talk, very little conversation about the situation. So this is frustrating, and this is why we're trying to do the show tonight, I think, is to remind people to focus.
Absolutely agree with you.
Would you like to talk now? Right now, you're talking to the English speaking people, and primarily, I want you to talk to the Americans and talk about the frustration of not being able to make people think about this.
Should I address to American citizens?
Please do.
Dear friends, it's very important for us your not support actually, but it would be very great for us if you support us, but to understand the situation here, that Donbas now in a stage of a really frozen war, and that horrible war crimes committed by Ukrainian junta will not stop, and our children deserve for normal life. Actually, for this time, and I was asked what happened since October. Actually, there were some changes because we met here delegations from Germany and French, and when deputies arrive here and look at our famous destroyed airport and close to its surrounded populated areas, how people were left their accommodation, how many people died, were wounded, when they see damages which were caused by Ukrainian shells in center of the city, they are shocked, and they promised to tell the true situation in their countries, in Germany and France, sorry, and to tell people the true situation, and that they told us that Donbass is a part of Europe, and we have to live without war, and we have to stop all the wars in the world. In Syria especially, people do not have to suffer there, but when they leave, the situation, I mean information war, didn't change because there are authorities that do not want to understand people people's grief to live in such conditions. They have another goals and do not pay attention to civilians. And Ukrainian authorities, especially President Poroshenko, threatened these officials who arrived here in Donetsk from Europe. They promised to send them to prison, but it's impossible. But such information war, Ukraine do everything possible to put us in such conditions to make us alone with our problems with this war. They promised so many times. It's unforgettable when President Poroshenko promised that our children will be in basements because we adults, people, citizens of Donbass expressed our will not to be in Ukraine after such fascist actions, especially when our countrymen, our friends, relatives from Odessa, South Ukraine, were burned in trade house, union house. So many victims, so many casualties were, and politicians laughed at this situation. It was such an expression of cruelty. It's unbelievable to be together. And we ask you to understand our problem, that we need peace. We want to live in peace. We want this war stop. We would be separate republic, and actually we have changes in our economy system and other systems. We are joining this time with Lugansk People's Republic. We started being closer. Not in the war. We joined together against Kiev when the war started. Officially. We have become one state, and in future we hope that the project Novorossiya will develop and other regions of Ukraine join us as it was earlier historically before Donbas and several other regions were presented to Ukraine, but earlier we were Malorussia and as a part of Russia, and we have still such a hope to be together, not to live in war. Thank you.
Is that a break? Okay, it looks
Yes.
like we're taking a break. Okay, everybody. No, that's kind of weird. We're not supposed to have a break. What was that all? Keith, what was that? Is that coming from you over there, Natalia?
Yeah, Natalia has a teeny tiny bit of echo on the line. It's
Okay.
not very bad. It's just barely noticeable.
All right. It sounded like there was a radio or something playing in the background, perhaps.
Yes, I'll turn it off.
Oh, you're watching TV. Okay, I got it. All right. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you for that, Natalia. I know it's not easy to address all of the listeners like that. And
Not
try to.
easy, yes.
Well, it's difficult to have a message that will get everyone's attention, and all I can do is try to reiterate what you said. But the bottom line is that it is cruel, like she said. It is wicked. It is evil, and we are supposed to be good people in this country. We think of ourselves as a Christian nation, somewhat of a Christian nation, of a good people. And there's absolutely no way that anybody can justify what's going on over there. The very fact that so much of our money was spent, close to $5 billion was spent just to destroy the democratically elected government in the Ukraine and to give them this Nazi fascist junta that they have now. It's incredible. And there's so many Americans out there, so many people that really need to wake up and need to understand that this is wrong. It's certainly not Christian. It's as evil as you can get, and we are truly being led by the dark side, and the people that are responsible for supporting the fascist regime and creating it are the same people that created ISIS and are responsible for the deaths of millions of people. So the bottom line is, I've said so many times before, that this is satanic. These are satanic forces at work, ultimately, and there's nothing possibly good that we could say about these people. Their motives are strictly death and destruction, and if they are going to be doing this because there's some sort of economic benefit, well, that is obviously satanic also. So there's absolutely no reason why we have anything to be doing over there. There's absolutely no reason why the United States or the EU or NATO should be supporting these Nazis. We fought Nazis in World War II, and here we are actually supporting them. So either the country has become incredibly brain dead, or we have become a satanic Nazi country. And if everyone is willing to accept that, then they also have to accept responsibility and stop acting like we're righteous, because we're not. Again, it's only a quarter way through the show, but I'm going to go ahead and let anyone that wants to join us to call in, if you'd like to give some support to Natalia, or if you have some sort of something worthwhile to add to the conversation. And the phone number to join us is area code 928-202-4608. And I'm pretty sure that's going to work. And of course, if you'd like to join us via Skype, you're going to need to connect to Keith. And he's Keith AZ. And as far as I know, the Revolution Radio Skype should also be working, and that would be Freedom Screen. So anyway, if you'd like to join us, please go ahead. I don't think it doesn't look like we'll be getting Zach or Georgie with us. Keith, have you seen any green dots pop up over there on their Skype by any chance?
No, I haven't.
No such luck. Huh? Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. I kind of wanted to ask Zach about the introduction of the Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifles into the battlefield, and I know that this has been having an effect. Definitely, it's been having an effect on the militia, and I don't expect Natalia to know anything about that. But what else would you like to share with us, Natalia? Tell us a little bit more about your office and the responsibilities that they've given you, and
Okay.
do you feel like it's working for you? Do you think that you're making progress?
That I'm making progress?
Yes, with us, of course.
With you? Or at my
Well,
office?
with the world at large. Do you feel like your efforts to educate the world about your situation in Donbass, do you think it's gotten any better, or what? Tell me about it.
Yes, it's getting better. Of course, our programs with you, thanks to you again, it's a big chance to talk to American people. It's our attempt. It does not depend on us how many people will listen to us or believe us, but we have to try, we have to discuss, we have to express our opinion. We're trying to do everything's possible, and thankfully to your show we have such ability to talk, to tell news. I will try to tell all the news for today, the most interesting questions. I will give answers to you. Concerning my office, I have already told you probably that I was employed when the war started, when it was hot war. I was employed after summer 2014 at the beginning of September. I was employed as a translator interpreter from English and from Russian into English to have dialogue with English-speaking audience. Now I'm trying myself as a journalist. From time to time I write articles, especially about situation here in Novorossiya, in Donetsk Republic. I'm trying to write for our people, to make photo reportages, and of course I'm translating into English and post with photos all the most interesting, important news from our Donbas area.
You told me that you actually have a title, a government title, that you're a deputy.
No, it's a mistake.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, someday
Actually,
maybe.
I
Huh?
help to one of our deputies with translations, but I do not have any attitude to government.
Okay.
Yet I do not have. Maybe in the future.
Well, someday, perhaps. Why not? Okay. Now, your agency or the company that you work for is the Novo Russia News. Is that right?
Nova Russia Today. We have group.
Novo Russia Today.
We have
Okay.
group in Facebook, Nova Russia News.
Okay. Of course, also, I want to ask people, if you have not done that, to join their Facebook page, to like it. But let me spell it out for everybody, because it's not spelled like you would think, but it's Novo Rossia. Is that correct? It's Russia with an O, correct? Rossa?
Yes, absolutely correct.
Okay, all right. So Novo, Novo Rossia. Novo Russia.
Exactly.
Okay, so everybody, please go like that page, please. Okay, now the our other guest was supposed to be here, Georgie. Georgie. He is actually works for another agency or another. Is it the Donny News? Is that it?
And now we work together in Novorossiya Today, Nova Russia Today.
Okay. So were these actually two separate news networks that are working together now? Is that right?
No, we are separate. We do not work together at all.
Okay, but you cooperate. I mean, obviously you serve the same cause. You're not competitors, right?
Not competitors, but we do not cooperate. I think our agency do not mind to cooperate, but no suggestions from their side. We do our work separately. And I'd like to point out that our agency, Nova Russia Today, was the first established in summer 2014, and their agency was established a year later in summer 2015.
Okay, all right. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, let me ask you a personal question. What's going on with Zach? He's a wild man. What's going on? Seriously, can you tell us?
How is he? He's working with articles. He writes not only about Novorossiya. He supports Serbia. His origin from Serbia, as you know. Yes. Did he tell? He supports Serbian people a lot. He's against war in Syria. He provides facts.
He's a very busy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of atrocities in Syria, Yemen, and other countries.
Do you still work together at all?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'm probing.
Not so closely as earlier.
I see. Okay. All right.
We want him. We want him to learn Russian language.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I was giving him a hard time about that because Georgie doesn't speak English very well at all, and and Zach was trying to tell me that he's gotten much better. His English is much better now. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, what about your Russian? How is your Russian? So I think Zach expects everyone to learn English, huh?
It's difficult to live in the country not speaking native language of
Yeah.
native citizens.
Is he? Well, he must be learning some Russian, huh?
Yes, he's trying.
Okay. Well, I know no Russian. I'm sorry. A little bit of Spanish, but no Russian. So.
Yo hablo español un poco
Hablo
también.
español poquito. Yes, I know you do. Yeah, you probably
Poquito.
speak more than I do. Poquito. Anyway. All right. Well, listen. Again, I really would like to invite people to join us. If they have any questions at all, or again, just to offer some support. And again, the call-in number is 928-202-4608. So what else is going on? Is it still pretty? Is there a lot of snow, or is it? Do you think spring is coming, or what do you think? You think more winter? What's it going to be like over there for you?
After holidays, our Orthodox Christmas, in the New Year and Christmas it was very cold, about -20.
Wow.
Which temperature did you have on New Year Eve?
Well, of course, we're in Fahrenheit, and I'm in Southern California. It doesn't get that cold here. I know on the East Coast it's very cold, but I'm just wondering if the snow is melting and if it's starting to get a little warmer there where you're at, or
No.
is it going to be cold for
After
longer?
Christmas, it was warmer. We thought that the spring is coming, but yesterday, it is -15 at night.
Wow. Well, I was wondering, because it seems to me that the junta is waiting for the snow to melt and perhaps springtime before they launch a major offensive. Do you think that that's what's going to happen, or any idea?
Frankly speaking, we have been fed up with this anticipation of them restarting war, over active military actions at the all front lines. Many times we were told that in December they will start after 1st January, they will start after 10th. But I think not warm temperature, not warm weather will be like a reason for them. I think they have been started preparing for this, and yesterday's announcement of Ukrainian President Poroshenko let us understand this, that they have been nearly ready. After this long hours negotiations with Biden, Nuland, and yesterday he announced that he is sure to return back sovereignty to Donbas, but on 13th January, Ukraine initiated negotiations in Minsk with parts from Donbas, heads of DPR, Donetsk People's Republic, and LPR, Lugansk People's Republic. They insisted on implementation of so-called Minsk III, one more ceasefire, and it's the seventh ceasefire regime that was agreed. No one knows what to wait. When will it start? But frozen war, it's very nervous and it's.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it must be very difficult.
It's difficult, yes.
Okay, well, then it would. So if I understand, then the weather is not so much a factor. I suspect then that there must be something else. Perhaps they're being told to coordinate with the other events in the world. Perhaps they're waiting for something to happen in Syria
Yes,
that will provide a distraction.
exactly.
Yeah, that would make sense. Uh, and perhaps they don't feel like they've trained well enough yet. I know that the United States, of course, is trying to train their forces.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they, and it's funny because the Kiev military is famous for being very bad soldiers. So I have to wonder what the American trainers must be going through. It must be frustrating. So maybe they can't graduate.
Yesterday, actually, I'd like to add that yesterday was one more interesting query statement by Ukrainian authorities that after the fourth mobilization wave, about 10,000 people from Ukraine, men, especially age over 18 years, who can do nothing. They will be forced to sign the contract and they will be sent exactly to the front line in Donbas.
Wow. That's got to be pretty awful.
Poor people.
Yeah, poor guys. Well, there's also we have to wonder though if there's going to be a coup over there, and if so, will it be a fascist coup or something more democratic?
In
Looks like
Ukraine,
yeah, in Ukraine, in the Kiev.
it's very difficult to say. Would it be fascist coup or democratic?
Mm.
I think that people, when they will be fed up with this junta regime, they will resist. Actually, in several cities, people started doing this. They have been already fed up with this fear. After Odessa, Ukraine felt very strong that they control people because people were really afraid. They afraid to express opinion about civilians in Donbass, about independence of Crimea and other things. But when Kiev authorities decided to recall Ukrainian city Kirovograd, maybe you heard about it.
Mm, I may have, but go ahead and tell us.
They decided to call it Ingulsk. Very strange name. I do not know why they decided to do this, to make people irritated of this or any other ideas. Actually, they irritate all people with the name changes of names of the streets. Bandera and Shukhevich, very famous banderists, fascists, and civilians, population of this big city in Ukraine, in central Ukraine, gathered. They started resisting, and Ukraine couldn't change the name of the city.
All right. Okay. All right. John Wayne has joined us, and John, did you have a question for Natalia?
Yeah, actually, I was just curious, I mean, is the fighting still raging on over there as what it was, a year ago to 2 years ago? And if so, is there any, from what you could gather, any strong military presence of the United States or other NATO or the NATO Union actually taking part in any of the fighting as well?
Thanks, John, for your question. Yes, we have a presence of NATO soldiers from mercenaries from the USA. I think that I am lucky, and citizens of Donetsk are really lucky that we live here in relevant peace with our militiamen protectors, but close to us in 20-30 kilometers occupied by Kiev junta troops, villages We have friends there, relatives, who told us many times that arrived new groups of soldiers who talk especially English with signs on their uniform with emblems of NATO. Actually, other mercenaries are also here. The information was confirmed that fighters from Syria, Iraq, Chechnya, who support Kiev nationalistic fighters battalions, are also in the territories of the DPR controlled by Kiev junta regime.
What about Turkey? Is Turkey sending troops?
About Turkey, actually, I didn't have such information.
Okay, well, you know that Erdogan, the premier of Turkey, has been threatening to send elite troops to take back Crimea.
Yes.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? These crazy people. But
Yes. What do they want from the Crimea? I do not know.
well, they want that base. You know, it's what's really crazy is that the United States Navy is actually sailing in the Black Sea. What do they so do not belong there? And I think that this is the main reason why they were so upset about Crimea becoming part of Russia, is because they wanted that naval base so badly. NATO wanted to control the Black Sea. Obviously,
Yes.
that could never happen. So it's just crazy, I tell you. Do you have another question, John?
No, not right offhand yet, but if you don't mind, if I just hang around, and I might have something that comes up here in a
Well, I
little
guess
bit.
I'll tolerate your presence. Okay,
Thank
that's
you
okay with
too.
everyone here. Again, if there's anyone else who would like to call in and join us and ask Natalia or myself or anyone a question, it's 928-202-4608. And of course, if you'd like to join us via Skype, you have to connect to Keith, and his Skype is his name, Keith AZ. So that would be KEITH, capital AZ, or Z, if you will. Anyway, oh my gosh. You know, it's interesting though. Well, first of all, John, you know, the offensive, it's not quite the way it was with the troops on the ground fighting as badly as they were. You know, like when they had the cauldron and all those troops that were trapped on the eastern side. You know, this is kind of what we're talking about. Is, you know, there are violations of the agreement. You know, there certainly hasn't been a ceasefire because the junta is still using howitzers and shelling the Donbass. But as far as them launching armored advances and infantry and that sort of thing, that has yet to happen. But you know, it's like we were discussing just now. They're getting very frustrated waiting for this, and it's been something that they've been expecting now for months, it seems like. And obviously, we expect that sooner or later, Kiev is going to try to launch a final offensive or an additional offensive. I mean, more than likely they will lose, and they seem to think that the only way that they can succeed is if Russia withdraws troops, which it doesn't even have there. But again, like we were saying just a little while ago, it's very possible that the junta regime is waiting for some sort of a world event, like perhaps a large offensive or some sort of operation in Syria involving, who knows, possibly the Israel, the United States, Russia, Turkey, et cetera, et cetera. So if you've been following what's going on in the world, you'll know that the United States has just opened up a military, or not a military base, but an airfield in the very far northeastern section of Syria, an area controlled by the Kurds. And this, of course, is extremely bad development because obviously the United States has no business. They've technically invaded the country just like they've invaded all these other countries and going and building a airfield in a country that they do not belong in. So this is very bad, and it's only going to be a matter of time before American planes, Israeli planes, NATO planes, European Union planes, whatever, are going to need to be shot down, because obviously Russia is going to have to do its job there, and I don't think that they moved all those anti-aircraft missile batteries into the country for giggles. I think they intend to use those eventually. So if you're a pilot, or if you're in the United States military and you have anything to do in the Middle East, you have to realize that you're on the wrong side. You're fighting for Satan, and if you die, you're going to go to hell because you don't belong there. You are the invader, and you are wrong, and you are absolutely dark and evil and twisted, and there's no way you're defending democracy or American freedom. You are nothing but a servant of Satan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And also, as well as, before they do any air operations over there, they fly in and drop leaflets warning the Daesh to, move out of the area before they actually strike. And, you're absolutely right, Stephen. This is the tinderbox full of gunpowder, and it's just waiting for that spark, that match to be thrown into it.
Well, I'm just thinking that, we're trying to reach out to regular people, and if you're an American citizen or you're European or whatever, and you've got children and your children want to join the military and go fight for freedom, you have to realize that you're raising your children to go kill and die for Satan. There is absolutely nothing righteous about any of this. And the true battle needs to be happening at home, because we have been overrun by the dark side, and these people that are posing as government officials in this country are pure criminals. And, this station here has been very much focused on events happening here locally in the United States regarding land that's being stolen by the federal government from American citizens. And, of course, I'm talking about the events going on in Oregon. But the reality is that these issues are not local issues that are small things. They are very, very large things, and all of these events are all connected. They all have the same common denominator, and that is that the world is being run by people who worship Satan, and these are the same people that would commit the genocide in the Donbas. These are the same people that are committing the genocide in Syria and Iraq and other places. The same people that are bombing Yemen.
And that's what I was going to ask you, here is, is the genocide as rampant there in Donbass and Kiev, there in Ukraine, the same way it is there in, Syria? Or is it, a little bit more, I don't even want to say the word laid back.
They're not cutting heads off, if that's what you mean. But Natalia, do you want to respond to
that? Can you repeat the question about Donbass and...
Let me rephrase it for you. He wants to know if the situation where you're at is anything like what's going on in Syria with the horrible humanitarian, the murders and all that sort of thing.
If we are talking about humanitarian situation, blockade, it's difficult to compare with Syria. I do not know. We have a difficult situation. Of course, we lived much more better before the war. Now we live, everyone who lives here feels that we are in a blockade, that we can't buy everything we want, and we do not have enough money to do this. Luckily that we have such Russia, our neighbor, our sister, who helps us to especially our children, aged people, such population from risk groups. I do not know how to compare with Syria. We feel not very good times, and we are waiting all the time. We live now this about 2 years, 1.5 years, we live, and with such thoughts that we have to suffer a little more time, and then we will live in peace. We will develop our country, that our economy will develop. We will do everything possible to live not worse than earlier, even better.
All right, that's our break. If everybody would please mute your microphones, we'll be back in 5 minutes, and stay with us.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
All right, everybody. Okay. All right. Okay, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Stephen D. Kelly Show you are listening to. My name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com. And tonight we are going back to the Donetsk Republic, and we're visiting with Natalia. And I want to remind everybody, before we get back into it, that Revolution Radio is 100% listener support. That means we do depend on your donations. So if you can, please go to our site support page, which is easy enough to find if you go to our homepage at www.freedomslips.com. On the left side of the page, there's a blue button that says Donate. Hit that. It'll take you to the site, the area where you can use your PayPal, your credit card, or whatever, and help us out. So we do need that, and please think about it. Also, please join our Facebook page if you have not done it. That's the Revolution Radio Facebook page. Do a search for Revolution Radio Freedom Slips. It's easy enough to find. Also, please join my Facebook page if you have not done it. Also, it's very important that you join my other pages, like, for instance, the Stephen D. Kelly page. Also, there is a Stephen D. Kelly Show page. Please join that if you've not have not liked it already, because sometimes Facebook may shut me down, and I'm going to need you to have access to the other site. Also, if you would like to support my efforts, you can use my PayPal, and that's easy enough. It's my name, Stephen Kelly, 714@gmail.com, and I usually say this during the show because it's always a treat if I see something show up at the end of the show. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always a treat if I see something after the show. Anyway, that's StevenKelley 714@gmail.com. Okay, thank you for that. All right. Now, Natalia, of course, is here, and we had intended to have some backup for her. Zach Novak was supposed to be here, as well as Georgie Morozov, and neither one of them made it. Unfortunately, I was unable to connect to Georgie. I did talk to Zach quite a few times, but he was depending on Georgie for the Skype contact, and it didn't happen. So, unfortunately, that's why he's not here. But again, we will look forward to having Natalia as well as Zach and Georgie again sometime in the future. And again, Natalia, if things ever look like something's crazy going on and events are happening that you need to get on the show and you need to get us to talk about it, please contact me and let me know, and I will schedule you immediately to come on and talk, because obviously if there's anything we can do to save lives and to prevent warfare, this is what we're here for. So please promise that you'll contact me if there's any way that we can be helpful in the future.
Sure, Stephen. Thank you for your help, support, for your invitation. We will do it more often. I think it's a great chance to talk to people.
Good.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Again, I want to remind people that we are taking calls, and please take advantage of this opportunity to call in and say hello and give your support. And once again, the phone number is 928-202-4608. Please call in and join us if you have anything to say, and don't be afraid. Also, if you'd like to join us via Skype, you can use the station Skype, which is Freedom Screen, or you can connect to Keith, which is Keith AZ, KEITHAZ. All right. Does anybody have any questions, any comments? Keith, do you have any questions by any chance? I always give you a chance to say something.
Well, I think it's wonderful, Natalia, that you've joined us and bring awareness to what's happening in your region. What other countries are around you? Is there any other countries besides Russia that is supporting you? Some of your other neighbors, perhaps?
Yes, other countries supported us for several times, but not so often. Actually, I'd like to say about the latest humanitarian convoy from Poland for Christmas. Orthodox Church from Poland sent us a humanitarian convoy on holidays. What can I say? France several times sent humanitarian aid, especially food, clothes, not clothes, sorry, sweets for children and sweets.
The convoys, they always have to pass through Russia, though. Is that right?
Sorry.
Well,
they have to pass Russia, yes.
Okay. So if France wants to send a convoy or aid, they must fly the material to Russia and then transit from the Don into Donbas? Mm-hmm. I see.
Actually, Germany donation charity organization helped before New Year. I'm talking about the latest, not for the 2 years. Latest couple of months. Before New Year, Germany organization remembers sent school things for our children.
Okay.
About 200 rucksacks with everything necessary for art, diary, pencils. Some kind of help.
Well, that's
our
nice.
Children.
That's certainly nice.
Nice.
Now, are the schools are out? Are they on holiday now, or what?
It's prolonged holidays. We call it. It connected with epidemic of flu, in order to prevent our children to get diseases.
Sure. Okay. I see. So what happens in a situation like that? Do the parents have to do the schooling, or what?
The situation in schools changed in comparison. In comparison with 2014, and half a year of 15, children started studying more intensively, I'd like to say.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if the children are enjoying the holiday, or if they if the
This
if they'd rather be in school, or what.
they are enjoying their holidays, especially at homes, because all sections, sports sections, art do not work now in order to prevent children from diseases. However, I'd like to say that sport, culture, all types of art is being developed very good. Here, such spheres as culture, sport, and education is also at high level as it was before the war.
Well, that's nice. There seems to be, you mentioned culturally, there's a lot of events going on. It seems like more and more countries are reaching out to have cultural exchanges with Donetsk. Is that something that you see a lot of?
Can you repeat, please?
Well, what I mean is it seems to me that more celebrities are getting involved and trying to be helpful. Is there anybody really famous that you've noticed that is getting involved?
Especially actors try
Yes.
to support here, but for this moment only Russian actors arrived here. We know that French actor Depardieu also support us, but he didn't arrive. Sportsmen support us. Many celebrities, but only Russian celebrities can arrive now here.
I see.
It's very difficult to get here from other European countries or other countries all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have to go through Russia, of course. That makes sense. So, but seriously though, I know that the last time we talked, you had a lot of questions about the American people and how much they are aware, and I know I didn't have any good answers for you. So does it seem like everybody is really kind of forgetting about your cause, at least here in the West?
Steven, did you ask me?
Yes. Does it feel like that you're being forgotten? Do you think that the people in the West are forgetting your cause?
Yes, sometimes it seems like this, that people forgot our cause, but in this situation we understand, I understand when I see what's going on all over the world, primarily Syria. So many people died. Last week it was reported by the United Nations organizations that nearly 20,000 civilians died as a result of this war. Actually, war in Yemen, poor people, children. I think that the situation is changing all the time. If we talk about Europe, Köln, who could thought that it can happen there? I mean, cruel actions of migrants in the New Year night. Actually, about terroristic actions, each week, nearly every day, Turkey, Burkina Faso, Cairo, other countries happened as a result of suicide murders. People suffer, and I do not know how to explain. It's offensive sometimes that people do not see us, and but the situation in the world in general is very serious. Many people need help, understanding, and further solution of these problems. It was a very I do not know how to say, when German deputies arrived here and said that we are together, we would help in everything possible ways. We do not need war and Donbas, our friendly country. It was coming. It made us calmer and more assured in our future. Of course, it would be very good if we would hear each other. All people understand other problems.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess it must be a little bit frustrating with so much going on in the world to try to compete for the attention of everyone. So, but at the same time, as bad as it is, apparently it's not as bad as it is in some places in Syria. Apparently,
yes.
They're definitely having problems there for sure.
I have a question here, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I hear of Odessa, Donetsk, Luhansk. Where are the actual battle lines drawn, I guess, within this fight, or is it basically patches of resistance here or there?
You mean now in which places is resistance?
Yes, ma'am.
Donetsk People's Republic in many from all the sides, north, west, south. Actually, this night was shelling from the south direction. It is very dangerous because Ukrainian fighters tried all the time to act from the side of our airport. They reinforced their forces, armament, especially from that time, and when they were conquered, they left their power in airport. When we liberated it, they tried to bring their forces from other sides. Gorlovka, it's west of the DPR. Novolaspa, it's south of the DPR, and this night was shelling. And cunning Ukrainian fighters, they occupy buff zones, which, due to the Minsk agreements, have to be empty. No one side, both DPR army and Ukrainian fighters do not have to be there, but in December they occupied 7 villages, especially in the south from Donetsk, and they conduct regular shelling from that places. Villages are nearly destroyed, and any house is without damages there. Yesterday in Gorlovka, actually, 2 people were wounded. A grandmother with her granddaughter, a girl of 15 years old. Again, children are suffering because of this ceasefire regime committed by Kiev junta troops sent here. Actually, OSSE mission last week was under sniper shooting. It's luckily, fortunately for them, that no one was hurt. And if you want to know, and they knew this fact, that only Ukrainian fighters could subject them to shelling. They were sure that this zone won't be shelling that time, because they coordinated and signed documents over ceasefire regime, a special ceasefire regime in that zone where it's necessary to restore water supply, gas supply. It's about 10 kilometers to the west from Donetsk. And from Ukrainian side, from Mariinka, snipers started shooting, and luckily they got Donetsk without wounds, only with damages of his car. But as you know, they didn't fix whose part to do this. They wrote the direction from where the shooting was conducted, and that's all, and the type of weapon.
So, I mean, what would it take to end this fighting? I mean, is it going to take a full-out blown, major war between, NATO powers and Russia, or is it going to be able to be resolved within the own country's, political parties?
We have such a big hope that not NATO, not Russia will not involve here, because it was a situation when we thought, when long-standing, day-by-day shelling was, we thought that it can't be someone have to interfere to stop it. But now we understand that we can be in such a blockade, but it's difficult in a frozen type of conflict. But we have such hope that in a year it would be solved, but not major war would be inflamed.
Let me answer your question, John. I don't think that the United States can survive much longer. The dollar is going to crash. The economy is going to crash. The entire economy of the entire world is getting ready to crash. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but there's this thing called the Baltic Dry Index, which is the list of all the ships that are traveling back and forth across the ocean, the merchant ships. And if you're paying any attention to the Baltic Dry Index, you'll notice that the number of ships that are on the ocean transporting cargo right now are at the lowest point they have ever been, probably since World War II. They're not shipping. There's hundreds of freighters. Most of the freighters of the world are anchored right now. Gasoline or oil that's being pumped out of the ground it costs more to pump it now than it's selling for. The steel barrel that they put the oil in actually costs more now than the oil that is going into the barrel. They're losing money. The United States has become the largest oil supplier in the world, and yet the money, they can't afford to do it because they're getting less money for the oil now than it costs to bring it out of the ground. So yes, the entire world is collapsing. The Western economy is collapsing, and the United States is probably in its last months. Just economically speaking, the dollar really does not have anywhere to go. So these world events are made to distract us from our own problems. And so I think, Natalia, you're probably fortunate that if our economy crashes here very soon, like it very well may likely do, that we won't be there to cause any more problems for you. It's good news, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, if anybody wants to respond to that and tell me I'm full of it, this is your opportunity. 928-202-4608. Once again, this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show on Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com. Oh, Natalia, I wish I could pronounce your last name properly. Let's see, Satyeva, is that right? Satyeva. Okay, that's pretty close, right?
Satyeva.
Okay, close enough. We have Natalia Satyeva here today. Call in and say hello, please. She's got up very, very early in the morning to be with us here today. So again, 928-202-4608. And again, if you want to call in via Skype, use Keith AZ, capital Keith, capital AZ, or Freedom Screen.
I just wanted to say, Natalia, over here in the United States, none of us want war. Nobody wants war. The Russians, they don't want war.
No, that's not true. The stockholders for Lockheed and Martin Marietta, they want war.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Raytheon, oh hell yeah, General Dynamics, they want war.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the general populace.
Boeing.
Well, yeah, I mean the major war industry, yeah, but the American people, they don't want no war. They don't want nothing to do with it. I mean, hell, half of them are so complacent and are completely oblivious to even what's going on over there in your area of the world. I mean, it's not even funny. I mean, it's disgusting, to be quite frankly honest.
Well, John, that's not completely true, because we've got at least 200 million people in this country who are really stupid, who think that they believe guys like John McCain that think that we need to attack Russia, or seriously, they are that stupid. Or there's actually people in this country that are so stupid that they think that the United States is fighting against ISIS. That's how stupid they are. So trust me, there are people in this country that want war only because they are stupid and they worship Satan. Okay? But the average rank and file citizen, no. We do not want killing, and we certainly do not support genocide, but at the same time, we have to take responsibility. If you're sitting there working at Boeing, or you're working for McDonald's, or any of these companies that are making big money selling weapons, and you're getting all excited because you're getting to work overtime because your company got that big contract to supply parts for M1 tanks or equipment that's being sent off to Syria or sent off to the Ukraine, then you're just as guilty, and you've got about as much blood on your hands as the people who are actually pulling the trigger. So there's no middle ground on this. You're either anti-war or you're promoting war. And if you're sitting there living off of the profits of war, then you're just as guilty as the people who are committing the murder with their own hands. That's what I think.
Absolutely, and that's the truth. So.
Gee, I can't believe is there any activity in chat that they have anything going on, Keith? Is there any questions, anything popping up?
Nothing related to this topic.
No? What are they talking about? Whatever's going on in Studio B or something?
Well, they're not talking about food, which is a change. They're talking about Star Childs and Robert Morning Sky and things like that.
I'm sorry, what's Burning Sky? What? Huh?
Star Child and Robert Morning Sky and
the hell is a Robert Morning Sky?
Oh, he's another speaker on the circuit. Talks about UFOs and that sort of thing.
Oh God, you're kidding me! Here we are trying to stop a war and trying to stop genocide, and we still have idiots talking about Star Childs and UFOs. What the hell is wrong with this station? Damn. See, this is why I have no time for any of the clowns in alternative media anymore, because they are busy trying to make a buck selling crap when we're sitting here trying to save the world and prevent people from killing each other. And they're talking about crap. Star Child. Robert, oh my God. That is pathetic. I am so tired of all these idiots out there that are focusing on nonsense when we're sitting here trying to save people's lives. This is stupid.
And I agree, Stephen. I mean, it's absolutely asinine. I try to cover everything as best as I can, and I'm glad you've got Natalia on here tonight because, she's actually in country and she's bringing the truth of what's really going on over there. And, I don't have anybody that I can bring on from over there, but I try to cover it as best as I can.
You got Natalia right here.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, right now. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I'm talking on my own program, I try to cover it as best as I can, but we've got her here now, and like I said, I mean, from what she just basically said, is the whole country over there in Ukraine is literally, at war, and I mean, my God, people are dying, and just people don't, people don't understand. I really feel
they're dying because of us. We did it.
It's ridiculous. And I know. Yeah, we overthrew their government.
Hell yeah, our tax money went to do that.
I mean, and it's still going to do it, I mean, hell, they're stacking up on the border over there with the NATO forces. I mean, it's so damn disgusting. And I don't get where everybody gets off on this. I really don't. I mean, it does. It pisses me off just as much as it pisses you off to, be trying to stop all this carnage, death, chaos, and destruction. And nobody even cares to blink a damn eye unless they're involved in building the
talk about
munitions.
UFOs. My God, idiots. Star children. Oh, it's a star. Natalia,
Yes.
you're in a war zone. Do you've got like what 3 million people or something living over there in Donetsk. Do you have people running around there talking about stupid stuff like aliens and UFOs, or are they kind of focused on reality?
I think the war changed people attitude to life. People became more serious. But there are people who talk about stupid things, nuisances, not necessary things.
Thank you for that.
There are such people everywhere.
Well, that's kind of like sports. The people that focus on sports and they live for football or something like that. But it's unfortunate because the alternative media, our media, the opposite of the mainstream media, we have such an important job to do, and yet so many of the people that have voices on this alternative media are wasting their time talking about nonsense and stupidity. This channel, I know our network is certainly has quite a few people there's nothing wrong with it. I do that too, but you're right. It's like there's no time for that right now. We have to get serious. People are dying, and we have so many people focusing on non-reality.
There's a time and a place, and it's not right now for that stuff.
No, it's not. Star children. My God. I'm sorry. That just completely takes the steam out of my sails. Okay, well, we've only got 30 minutes left in the show. And again, Natalia, I want to thank you for being here. And, and I really would like to think that we've accomplished something tonight, at least to remind people to remember that that the people in Donetsk are suffering. And we have to take responsibility. At least people in the Western world, especially here in the United States, we do have the ability to have some influence. So I just have to, if all I can really do is try to advise our listeners to double their efforts to talk to their friends and their family and their coworkers about what's really going on, and remind them that the United States is actively supporting Nazis in Ukraine. And these are the very, very same Nazis that we fought with our allies in World War II. So people need to wake up, and I just don't know how much stronger I can try to impress upon people this information. But again, everybody, please do what you can to not forget what's going on in Ukraine, and please talk to people and remind everybody, and in no uncertain terms, let everyone know that you talk to that the United States and NATO we have become the bad guys, and we are supporting the Nazis, and it really does. It's very important that we use our voices to try to make this stop. We need to embarrass these leaders so much that they have to completely stop this. And if we can, the people that are responsible, that are in office, they need to be removed. So anything that we can do, that's really the only thing I can do that I think can be helpful. Is there anything else, Natalia, that you think that we can do that would be helpful for you?
I'm very grateful, Steve, to you. Such nice warm words you told to the audience. It's very good that we decided to talk again about Donbas, Syria, and other places of the world where is not quiet. Now, people really have to think about the problems and who causes these problems, and not support government if it support Nazis. We have to remember our history. whatever difficult it is, sometimes people think that it would be better to give up, and then they will be praised. I do not know. They would deserve something great life. No, if something is going on not right in life, it's not right to rewrite history, to teach children new, unbelievable history. I do not know. There are people, weak people, who are not Nazis, but they would support them and consider that there is no any other case, any other way. We have way. We have to resist Nazis rewriting history. We do not have to support. We do not have to look quietly when other countries are shelled. Thanks to you, to your program, and I'm sure that people will listen and understand us.
Okay, I hope that that's true, and I'm thankful that we are able to be any help at all. Gosh, I really would like to think that what we're doing is going to be helpful, and you'll have to let us know because I just don't know. But it is very frustrating trying to wake up people and trying to get people to care. And I think that's the first thing that we have to do is we have to we do have to care, and we have to remember that we're all human, and that none of us deserves to be treated like this. And these politicians and evil people that would try to suggest that Russia is somehow an evil enemy, and that this is all part of trying to defeat Russia and take over Russia. First of all, that's never going to happen, and it's suicide. And we really need to try to work together. And I personally think that that our countries do have, and I'm talking about the United States now and Russia, of course. I think there is certainly a very strong. There is a foundation that we can work on, that we can build on, to have a mutual self-respect and work together in peace. Unfortunately, the enemy of the world, of course, is the Rothschilds and the evil, the satanic, the banking cartel, and the Khazarian mafia, and of course the Zionists, naturally. And all of these elements that are being utilized to cause this warfare, such as the Banderites, the Nazis, the ISIS, and these tend to be the lowest levels of society. And to suggest that somehow these dregs and these underachieving types represent us or represent anything good in the world is certainly a mistake. And I think that we all need to raise our standards, and we need to ask a lot of questions, and we need to change. We need to stop supporting these lowlife in every place in the world. And if you look at what's going on in Europe with the migrant crisis, it's not the best and the brightest that are flowing into these countries. It's the disenfranchised, the least educated, and the people with the least ability to assimilate culturally. And so this is a corrosive action. It's made to there's the people that are responsible for this are doing everything they can to destroy the world and reduce the population of the world. And we have to recognize this, and we have to recognize that the common denominators are always the same. It's going to be these people that worship Satan. So that's all I can really say about it.
Is there any international flights going in and out of Ukraine? Out of the 6 airports. I've got a map pulled up and I'm looking at it. Or is there absolutely no air traffic going in or out?
John, actually, our airport was crashed, and people can get our Republicum.
Yeah, John, you know the airport's dead, right?
Yes.
I know Donetsk is. I know Donetsk is down.
Does Lugansk have an airport?
I'm not sure, but I think it was also destroyed.
Was destroyed also?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
our
Well,
Donetsk, airport was one of the biggest at the second place after Kiev, and international flights. It was possible to fly to USA from Donetsk. We have in Mariupol, but
now she had. You mentioned earlier in the show that the international observers had actually gone to the airport, and I remember their reports, but they said that the scene, the devastation, was very reminiscent of World War II, apparently. So the destruction, the airport destruction, it must be really, really bad.
yes,
Probably never going to get rebuilt, huh?
rebuilt. I do not know. Is it great to rebuild airport in the place where so many people died? Too many people.
They'll probably find a new location. Huh?
Yes, so much blood was split there. Unbelievably, how many people died there.
Are the Ukrainian forces or the Kiev forces, are they still there? Are they still trying to defend that area, or have they been driven out?
No, they will never have such ability anytime. In airport has such infrastructure. When they got there last year, our militiamen spent so much time to make them go out of there. No way. We protected now very good. Yes, John.
Go ahead.
I'm sitting here looking at Moldova, and is there any support coming in from Moldova, or are they a NATO country as well?
Do you mean, do we have support from Moldova, or do we support them?
Well, either way, or well, I guess you can answer. I mean, obviously, are they supporting you guys, or are they just kind of just sitting off on the sidelines, just watching things unfold?
No, I never heard that Moldova support us as well as Russia, for example. They have their own problems and do not care about us, I think.
There's a possibility that they may also try to separate, I think, John. There was some talk about that.
Oh.
So, yeah, they may be having their own problems also. If there's anyone else that wants to join us, we're almost out of time here. Again, less than 20 minutes. 928-202-4608. I am completely out of questions for you, Natalia. Gosh. How about you, Keith? Anything? No.
No,
Let's talk about food. What are you going to have for breakfast, Natalia? What's for breakfast?
Actually, I do have answer that, but another follow-up question is, how about heating oil? Do you guys use heating oil, or is the cold winter, are people staying warm enough?
Okay, so do we have a cold winter?
He's asking about the supplies, the coal and the oil.
Our supply system.
Yeah.
Heating supply, you mean?
Right.
We have very good heating now, but the first frosts in December we had problem. About 2-3 days there were no supply, and it was cold. The problem was caused by Kiev authorities.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that some time ago that the Donetsk was still supplying coal to Kiev. Are they still doing that?
About coal. We stopped, but then restarted, and the final decision, I'm not sure, I can't tell you now.
Uh-huh. Okay. But there's still some cooperation there. Keith, I believe that the people in the Donbass are in a little better position with respect to that than the people in the Kiev regime, because I think that Donbas actually is a coal supplier, so they may have better resources than the people in the West.
Of course, people in the West, they have at least nothing, any resources, despite wood. They have forests.
Uh-huh. Well, wow. Okay, well, that's their problem. They can grow food. Of course, if the United States gets involved, they'll get in there with Monsanto and GMOs and everything and poison everybody. So I know that's what they want to do. Well, I'd like to think that things are going to get better. It's at this point, it's the main thing is that the Kiev is still violating the ceasefire. They're still, launching shells over there, but there's no major offensives yet. And if we could get them to stop violating the ceasefire, that would certainly be a big deal. But we know that Poroshenko has no intention of giving up this fight, and they intend to retake not only the Donbass but Crimea as well. So it could never happen, right? And I certainly don't see Russia sitting and allowing that to happen either. Obviously, Russia is not going to allow Kiev or anybody to take over Crimea. So where's it going to go, right? World War III? Probably.
Let's hope
Nobody?
that it won't be World War III.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. No, there's so many things to worry about here. We have our own problems. I'm certainly worried about Fukushima, the radiation. The Pacific Ocean is dying. The largest ocean in the world is almost completely dead now. It's really bad. Do you hear about that at all, Natalia? Do you hear about that over there?
News about concerning
the Pacific and the radiation? Yes.
Ocean, of course. I heard it's awful about animals and water pollution. The climate is changing very much, I think.
Well, the climate issue, of course, is artificial. That's something that they've created to try to control us. But of course, you live very close to Chernobyl, so you know how bad that was. Now, imagine the situation in Japan is much, much worse than Chernobyl.
Yes.
And it's still going on. No one has made any effort to stop it. So, unfortunately, from a reality standpoint, we have a caller. We're talking about war and genocide, and then we've got these idiots talking about UFOs and aliens, and yet the world is being poisoned by radiation. Okay, we have a caller. Area code 817. Who's this?
Hollander.
Yeah, hi. What would you like to say?
Well, last time that I called in, I got to talk to a wonderful guest that you had, Tosh Plumley.
Right, Tosh.
And hey, have you followed up with him? Is he doing good? Is he safe? Is he healthy?
Tosh is alive and well. He has some issues with Washington, of course, that are still trying to harass him over the whole Benghazi issue. But as far as I know, he's doing good. Do you have anything you'd like to address to our guest tonight?
Yeah, I think that she's fantastic. That's all I can say. Is that she's sharing truth, and here we are, listening and receiving the wonderful.
Well,
there you go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. And Natalia, there you go. You have a friend.
Thank you for your support.
Just one. If anybody else would like to call in and say hello to Natalia, again, it's 928-202-4608. If you have any questions at all, now's the time to call in. Okay, we're down to the last 10-15 minutes. So if anybody wants to call in, please join us. Go ahead, John.
Now, obviously we're under the understanding that there is U.S. naval vessels in the Black Sea. Now, the Sea of Azov, is there any action within the Sea of Azov with Russian naval vessels, or is there possibly going to be a confrontation within these bodies of water between, I guess, Russia and NATO forces?
Oh, Natalia, you become a military analyst now. That's a tough one.
What?
Okay, let me just jump in here. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Natalia. Did you want to try to answer that question?
If you repeat for me again, please.
Because I will if you don't.
Go ahead, Stephen.
All right. Well, first, John, the Sea of Azov is very small. It's off of the Black Sea. From a strategic standpoint, it's nothing like the Black Sea. It's not going to be a scene of naval battles. I could see where that question would come from, but it really is a secondary body of water compared to the Black Sea. It's not. It doesn't really have that strategic significance.
Okay. Well, the only reason I asked is because, if there were to be warships up there in the Sea of Azov, it would put them a lot closer to, maybe shelling Donetsk or, areas of opposition than firing away from the Black Sea. But then again, we have cruise missiles, which are able to do the same thing besides having a battery.
Just from a strategic standpoint, John, I would suggest that the Russian Black Sea fleet is certainly very, very capable. I don't see any military being able to operate in those areas, but from the standpoint of the ability of a naval power to affect the Donbass, you should remember that the rivers running through the Ukraine are pretty substantial, and if you go back in history, you'll see that the major river flowing through Ukraine was actually used by the Vikings to conquer the Khazarian Empire many, many years ago. So that could happen again. Okay, 250 just joined us. Who is this?
Hi, this is Vera from British Columbia, Canada.
Hi, Vera. What can we do for you tonight?
Hi, I just wanted to say hi to Natalia and thank her for giving us information, because the media tells us nothing about this. And then on the internet, you're not too sure who is telling the truth or what's really going on there. But that it be known to her that people in Canada also tried to stop what's going on there. Okay, I emailed definitely government officials, and they just ignore is basically what they do.
Hi there.
Can I?
Hi.
Thank you very much for your phone call. I'm very glad to hear you that it was interesting that you are trying to understand, and you want to understand, and that you support us. Thank you very much.
Well, I want you to know that I am Ukrainian. My family actually come from the Ukraine years ago, but when it was the Soviet Union. So to me, in a way, Russia, Ukraine, it's like they're attached at the hip. It's like just foolishness,
Absolutely agree with you. Do you know from which region were your relatives, ancestors?
Lviv, I believe, and from my father's side, and my mother's, I'm not sure. They're both deceased, so, and I probably have other family members out there, who knows where, but, not been in touch, so.
Very nice.
But I'm very sorry to hear what's going on there. But do know that many people do care about what's going on, even if they can't really do anything. They kind of pray, and like our politician now that we have as prime minister, these guys are just puppets for somebody else somebody else is giving them instructions, basically.
I wanted to ask you about Trudeau. What has he said anything publicly about this? Is he come out? Because certainly he's reversed himself quite a bit on so many things since he's been elected, but specifically about the efforts in Ukraine. Has he come out in support of Kiev?
I haven't heard a word on that. You know, the latest, the one of the most ignorant things that has been going on in our country is just all this gay, and for the gays to have rights, and the LGBTQ, and that the kids can decide whether they're going to be whatever they're going to be, and then get us on our compassion on that end of reality. Never mind what's happening out there in we do hear about a little bit about Syria, but of course it's all blamed on Russia and Bashar Assad. You know, like nobody else provoked the situation, you know. And I've sent many emails just like going nuts on my former prime minister about what's going on there in Israel, and to stay out of, you know, those countries. Just leave them alone. They've never done any threats to us. You know, Russia's never threatened us. Ukraine never threatened us. But these are very rich Jews that are in there, just basically bullies running the show. I mean, whether you call them Zionist Jews, because you can't put the blame on all the Jews, but, you know, and they call them Nazis. I don't know. Well, but as far as, I haven't heard him say anything about the Ukraine.
Well, hey, hang on a second, John. We're getting down to the last second, so I got to kind of jump in here. Real quick, though, I just want the last caller. I want to thank her for what she said. That's very accurate. And if I could just advise you, please take what you've learned tonight, what you've heard, and share it with everyone you can. And take charge over there. If you're you're one of the many listeners that we have in Canada. So if you could do what you can to reach out to all your friends and family and people that you're around and help us spread the word, that would be great.
Okay.
But
take
I do
care,
want to
Natalia.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking my call.
Take
care, okay?
Keith,
okay,
I need to let everybody.
Bye-bye.
I need to start letting people go here. John, you can stick around. Let me see. 817. Thank you for calling. I'm gonna let you go here. And let's see here. I got to remind everybody again that this is Revolution Radio. I hope you've enjoyed the program tonight, and you will consider helping us out and donating something. Also, please get involved. We do this because we're trying to change the world, and if you're listening, we hope that it's because that you want to do the same thing and be helpful, and we're not just trying to entertain you. So please do what you can to get involved and talk to everybody that you know and share anything that you might have learned tonight. And that's really all I can say. So again, this is my name is Stephen D. Kelly. This is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. You're listening to Revolution Radio at www.freedomslips.com. I know we got a couple minutes here, but I want to thank Keith, of course, and Natalia. Again, thank you so much for being with us tonight and doing the whole thing by yourself. I look forward to having you back again real soon, and possibly next time, perhaps we'll get Zach and maybe Georgie to join us too, so it's not all on you. But you did a really good job tonight. Final messages that you want to tell our listeners tonight. We've only got a couple minutes, so go ahead and just tell us what you want to leave everybody with. Natalia, are you there?
Of course, I'm here. I'm in
put all that pressure on you.
Anticipation of one more phone call. I'm very glad that people phoned today. Thank you, Keith and Stephen, for your show, for the invitation. It was very important, interesting for me to talk to you, to people. It's amazing that people listen to us, that they think, that they also spend time for observation of the situation in the world. That's wonderful that we are not alone. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for your efforts in being here. And again, I'm really happy that we're able to do anything. And if you could, please go back to your colleagues and let them know that we're here and we'll do everything we can. And that is the end of the show. I want to thank you all tonight, and you listeners, thank you for being here. And we'll see you next week. And that's about it. But it's been a good show, and I want to thank everybody that's been here tonight and all the callers. So good night, everybody. God bless. Adios.
Good night.